Okay, so today's the big day. It's finally the weekend, and I can spend some time doing the first modifications on the 392. I'll walk you through everything that I'm doing as I'm doing it. I'm gonna try to make this more of an installation video, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's get at it.
This is a side-by-side comparison between the 2.0 and the 3.0. And of course, this is what happens when you only have a set of shocks to replace and you got all weekend to work on the Jeep. My wife likes purple, so let's paint a few things purple, see what happens. Yeah, seems kind of counterintuitive to paint the frame, but believe it or not, I think this is going to make it more rust resistant, and the blue flake does look kind of cool. Alright, with the painting done and everything back together, we can finally get back to installing these big dog shocks. So let's do that. Alright, for the next few minutes I'm just going to explain what I'm doing so that you don't have to suffer through all of my agonies. Here I'm realigning the upper bolt for the shock, and next I'm putting some Loctite on the lower bracket that comes with the shock. Now, it may be easier to mount the lower bracket to the shock before you bolt it to the Jeep. And I say that because it took me a few minutes to get everything lined up. Doing it the way I bolted it to the axle. I bolted the lower bracket to the axle first before I inserted the shock. And like I said, it took me a few minutes to get that lined up just right. But I mean, in the end, I think it maybe took me, you're looking at about 10 minutes here, so it's really not that big of a deal. And next I'm going to be mounting the remote reservoir because everything is already bolted up as you see it here, but you'll see me move the camera rather abruptly, and I'm trying to reposition it so you can see the bracket. So there, I'm just taking the first mark, drilling a couple of holes, mounting the initial screw for the bracket, second, and now the third bolt. So this took me a few minutes to get everything lined up. That's a pretty cool mounting system that they have. The bracket kind of slips into a groove, and then you bolt it to the bracket on the other side of the groove. It's really neat and strong once you get it in, but it does take a few minutes to get it all lined up just right. Here you see me adjusting the dampening speed to the recommended settings, and now I'm mounting the two hose clamps. And this is the final setup. This is what it looks like. I apologize for being a little shaky. I think I had some tools in my hand while I was moving everything, but that's what it looks like. And I think the color looks cool, but it's my wife's Jeep, so there you go.
All right, so this is the rear shock. I didn't do an installation on the rear shock because it's really just two bolts. And so you can see the top bolt is there. So it's easier just to take this off. You do have to trim this just a little bit to get this to fit. And also at full droop, you can see that the sway bar is actually touching the shock. And so I think if I get a longer set of sway bar end links, that shouldn't be a problem again. Anyway, and then also in order to adjust them, you can still get to it from here, but it's not as easy as I was hoping it would be. However, it looks great, so once I get it adjusted, it'll be fine. And you can adjust it back here. Anyway, and wife asked for that, so there it is. And it kind of looks good when you got light on it. Looks a little magical, I guess.
This is just a side-by-side comparison for the rear between the 3.0 and the 2.0 rear shocks. Alright, here we are all back together. Everything looks great. I'm sitting pretty again. And this is essentially what you see from the road. It doesn't look too bad. Paint looks good. The shock looks great and looks super heavy duty, which I seriously doubt we're ever going to need it or use it to its potential, but you know, it looks great, so who cares. And the rear shocks, man, they look awesome on this Jeep and seem appropriate for the 392, to be honest. But they are a little expensive, so there's that. And this is the underside, just to give you an idea as to what you might hang up on. It's about normal. I mean, it's just like the stock shocks. But and this is the tire carrier. I thought I'd paint it at the same color as everything else while I was painting. And the tires are a little bit behind schedule, so that won't happen until next weekend. But hopefully next weekend I'll get those on and get you a video of that as well. It's my little paint station while I was painting. So that's it. It's getting ready to get a bath, sitting next to my daughter's Jeep. I think it's going to look a lot better with the larger rims and tires on it. But I'll post another video on that next week. Hopefully it's next week. But thanks for watching.